You may have to try several different techniques, often through a process of trial and error, to achieve your goal. It's during this period that many people become discouraged and give up on their behavior change goals. The keys to achieving and maintaining your goals are to try new techniques and find ways to stay motivated. Change might not come easily, but psychologists have developed effective ways to help you as a leader change the behavior of those you lead. Therapists, physicians, and teachers use these techniques. Researchers have also proposed theories to explain how change occurs. During the elements of change, the stages of change, and the way to walk through each stage can help you achieve your goal as a team leader. So let's look at the elements of change. To succeed as a leader, you need to understand three most important elements in changing a behavior. First is readiness to change. Do you have the resources and knowledge to make a lasting change successfully? Second is barriers to change. Is there anything preventing you from changing? And third is likelihood of a relapse. What might trigger or return to a former behavior? So let's look at the stages of a change model. One of the best known approaches to change is the stages of change, or what we refer to as the trans-theoretical model, introduced in the late 1970s by researchers James Prochaska and Carlo Di Clementi. They were studying ways to help people quit smoking. The stages of change model has been found to be an effective aid in understanding how people go through a change in behavior. So in this model, change occurs gradually, and relapses are an inevitable part of the process. People are often unwilling and resistant to change during the early stages, but they eventually develop a proactive and committed approach to changing a behavior. So this model demonstrates that change is really easy. It often requires a gradual progression of small steps towards a goal. So let's look at the first stage. Stage 1, pre-contemplation. What are the characteristics of this stage? You have denial, you have ignorance of the problem. So what strategies will you use to manage this stage? Then assess risk of the current behavior. The earliest stage of change is known as pre-contemplation. During the pre-contemplation stage, people are not considering a change at all. People in this stage are often described as in denial because they claim that their behavior is not a problem. In some cases, people in this stage do not understand their behavior is damaging to others, or they are underinformed about the consequences of their action. If you are in this stage, you may feel resigned to your current state or believe that you have no control over your behavior. If you are in this stage, begin by asking yourself some questions. Have you ever tried to change this behavior in the past? How do you recognize that you have a problem? What will have happened to you if you considered your behavior as a problem? And then once people are able to go past stage 1, they move to stage 2, which is contemplation. And what are the characteristics of stage 2? You have ambivalence, and then you have conflicted emotions. So how do you handle ambivalence and conflicted emotions? 1, you look at the pros and the cons of your behavior change. And then 2, you confirm readiness and the ability to change. And 3, you identify barriers to the change. During this stage, people become more and more aware of their potential benefits, of making a change. but the costs tend to stand out even more. These conflicts can create a strong sense of ambivalence among or about changing. Because of this uncertainty, the contemplation stage of change can last months or even years. Many people never make it past this contemplation phase. You may view change as a process of giving something up rather than a means of gaining emotional, mental, or physical benefits. If you are contemplating a behavior change, there are some important questions to ask yourself. Why do you want to change? Is there anything preventing you from changing? What are some things that could help you make this change? And then stage 3 is preparation. What are the characteristics of this stage? You are experimenting with small changes and collecting information about change. So what strategies can you use to manage this stage 3? You must write down your goals and then prepare a plan of action. And then make a list of motivating statements that you can use in this stage. So during this preparation stage, you might begin making small changes to prepare for a larger life change. For example, if you want to change behavior of a colleague or a junior colleague, you might want to switch to a lower way of looking at it. You want to say, okay, what are the factors that are prompting these behaviors? Let's see how we can address those factors and then see how those factors can help change the behaviors. If you are in this preparation stage, there are some steps you can take to improve your chances of successfully making a lasting life change. Now, gather as much information as you can about ways to change your behavior or the behavior of your colleague or your team member. And then prepare a list of motivating statements. Write down your goals. And then find resources such as support groups or counselors or friends or peers at work, who can offer advice and encouragement. And then you have stage 4, which is action. What are the characteristics of stage 4? It's direct action towards your goal. You now have a direct action towards your goal. So what are the strategies for stage 4? You must reward success for slight changes in behavior. And then seek out social support within the system that you operate. So during this first stage of change, people begin taking direct action in order to accomplish their goals. Oftentimes, resolutions fail because the previous steps have not been given enough thought or time. For example, many people make a New Year resolution to lose weight or immediately start a new exercise regimen. And then they embark on a healthier diet or cut back on snacks. These definitive steps are vital to success, but these efforts are often abandoned in a matter of weeks because the previous steps have been overlooked. And then you have stage 5, which is maintenance stage. What are the characteristics here? Maintenance of a new behavior and then avoiding the temptation of falling back into the old behavior. So what strategies can you use here? You can develop coping strategies for temptation. And then remember to reward yourself when you scale through each